And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking the Kimi Antonelli problem. This guy came in with flying colours. Stats are plenty. Okay, he didn't particularly do well in Formula 2. He was impressive at times, but the reason being that his team couldn't take grasp of the new F2 chassis. Okay, he gets into Formula 1. Well, before that, he has a bit of a whoops-a-daisy at Monza in his first practice session. We can forgive him. Awesome in Australia. Bad qualifying, 16th. Awesome race to 4th. And it's kind of been a wish-wash, very up and down, with probably more downs than up. So let's have a look at the Kimi Antonelli problem. And here we are, and let's look at that. I mean, let's take the most recent example, shall we? The most recent example, basically, being what happened in Zandvoort. Okay, let's have a look, shall we? Leclerc and Kimi Antonelli. As you can see here, they end up coming together. What happened was Kimi was had pitted the lap before. Leclerc, this was him coming out, and obviously Kimi's tyres were warmer, he was a lot faster, and we just had this kind of desperate attempt now where sadly he just goes and hits Leclerc. Nothing Charles Leclerc could have done. He's obviously understandably a bit annoyed because it looked like, at least from Leclerc's point of view, it could have been a good result for Ferrari. But this is one of a few, and a fair few, incidents that's happened with Kimi Antonelli. That says a typical rookie, but more in the rookie of a guise of like a Latifi or a Logan Sargent or a Lance Stroll. And I can't believe I'm comparing Lance Stroll with Kimi Antonelli in terms of the incidents he's getting into. Now, to be fair, Lewis Hamilton, probably more in his actual second year, maybe. But second, third, fourth year, maybe got into more incidents, maybe. But in his first year, he was more impressive than he was against Fernando Alonso. Yes, Kimi Antonelli has George Russell. And another reason why it's slightly unfair to maybe compare the two, I do feel that driving a Formula 1 car now, with all the bits on the steering wheel and with this ground effect era, is more difficult for a rookie coming in. However, I would argue that since Lewis Hamilton, he's one of the most prepared rookies of all time in terms of this recent generation, simply because of all the testing he did beforehand in older Mercedes cars, where, for example, you had Hadjar, Bortoleto, didn't have as much testing, yet have been more impressive. This is and let's talk about his debut crash, shall we? Here he is, going on the Parabolica, and just gets a bit too greedy, and spins it. To be fair, I get it, he wants to impress everyone. He's hyped. It's his home Grand Prix practice. This was all the way back in 2024, but it's probably not the best thing to do, is it? Most certainly not for Kimi Antonelli. Oh dear. I mean, look, when you look at the Monza thing, other than braking late, he was just asking too much of the car, and I think this was his second lap, and it was not the best debut, really, was it? In George Russell's car as well. But this is Kimi Antonelli talking about it, and it really, really affected him, this practice crash.
That day, I let down all my family. My dad, he was not happy. He didn't expect that it would have happened.
Kimi Antonelli has gone to the medical centre. That is his car, his Mercedes, on the side of the track.
It was quite a big bump.
After the crash, they did some checks because the impact was really big.
Indeed.
But I remember laying in that bed, I just wanted to stay on my own. I cried as well. I didn't want to see anyone.
So he's such a likeable guy as well. He's really honest. He's really open, kind of like a Lando Norris. There, he's wearing his heart on his sleeve. And I get it. He's crying. He thinks he's let everyone down. This big debut. And part of the reason you've got to blame Mercedes and Toto Wolff for that. Because Toto was kind of bigging him up as well, wasn't he? And it's just a massive, massive shame, and it all came to a crescendo upon this debut. And I still think maybe that he's got some kind of PTSD from. Not that I want to joke about PTSD, but I'm being absolutely legit for the first time from it. When you see how much this one incident affected him,
I just wanted to go home, to be honest.
I was sad for him because I know that he would have walked away from that certain that he'd let the occasion get to him.
Yeah.
And that's the very thing, of course, that is his biggest foe.
And that's really, really telling. And that's the very thing, of course, that is his biggest foe. Letting that occasion get to him and letting the fact that there's all this hype get to him. Now, I don't know Kimi Antonelli, but it would appear he's overdriving and maybe trying too hard. He's maybe seen the press, and you can't hide from the press. You can't hide from social media as much as you want to. And he's seen this, and it's got to him, and he's trying, I think, overdriving the Mercedes, thinking I need to be right near George Russell, or at least with him, and trying too hard. He needs to, I think he needs to relax more, and it will just come to him. I mean, look how well in Canada, the sprint pole in Miami, yeah, the start didn't go according to plan, but it was, you know, it was amazing. It was really good. And he needs to let it just come to him. This was
bring out the yellow flags.
Yeah,
is that Kimi Antonelli in the gravel? It is Kimi Antonelli off the road.
In practice, just what he didn't need. Once again, Italy is the occasion getting to him.
Ooh.
Here we go. Yeah. Snap. It's like the car snaps. Maybe it's like a bit of oversteer in the gravel, and it's over. Hardcore gravel. I mean, I'm loving the gravel. I guess Kimi's not, and this was obviously Kimi getting a lift back to the paddock. Kimi getting a lift back to the paddock. Yeah, well done, Italian marshal there. Hey, see you later, alligators. Yeah, nice, nice fan footage there. And Jacques Villeneuve went absolutely savage on him after the Dutch Grand Prix. He said a move you might see in Formula 4, Formula 3, and a driver who doesn't have experience. Harsh. And what else did Jack say? Maybe F1 is just too much for him. I think that's a bit harsh. So he's gone from a move that you may see in Formula 4, Formula 3 from a driver who doesn't have experience. Well, funny enough, he wasn't in Formula 3. He went straight to Formula 2, didn't he? And he does have experience. He has pulled amazing moves. Remember that mega move on Lewis Hamilton in Australia? So yeah, we know he's capable of really, really good stuff. I thought that was a bit too harsh, and maybe F1 is just too much for him. I think that's a bit wrong from Jack, but as we know, Jacques Villeneuve, he, like Ralf Schumacher of late. Ralf Schumacher is the German. I think he's the German Jacques Villeneuve. They like the sound of their own voices. Sometimes they make quite interesting points. Sometimes they just make it for the sake of it, because they know it's either going to go viral or mentioned on the websites, and the websites all love a bit of controversy. You know, the 97 world champion says this. Sadly, I guess after 97, when you look at all the crashes Jacques Villeneuve got into, I'm just saying, Jax. But I think the occasion sometimes gets to him, though. I think that's the best. For me, that's probably like one of the best ways of putting it. This was the crash in Austria. Don't forget this as well. From the ground set, T-boning. It happens. This is like another view of it. Kimi Max crashed out. Now they're out of the race. Here we go. Look, he just... Oh, that was a silly decision. I mean, that's kind of something you see Lance Stroll do on a medium day. I don't want to say good day, because he does have a good day. Bad day, yeah. It was very akin almost to Valtteri Bottas playing Wii bowling, wasn't it? On the first corner in Hungary in 2021. But there we go. But let's have a look then at Kimi's. Last but not least, let's have a look at Kimi Antonelli's, you know, after 14 rounds, where he finished. So round 1, Australia P4, not too bad. China P6, Japan P6. We've got then we've got P11 for Bahrain, P6 for Saudi Arabia, P6 for Miami, DNF for Imola, P18 I think for Monaco, DNF for Spain, P3 first podium for Canada. Then it gets really rough, doesn't it? DNF in Austria, DNF in the UK, P16 at Silverstone. There was P16 in Belgium, P10 in Hungary. That's not the CV of a Mercedes driver replacing Lewis Hamilton, is it? But we have to remember, he is a rookie. I hope Mercedes, they know how good he is. They've seen the data. They know more than us. So I can only hope he's got next year. And I think next year, if the summer break wasn't a good enough reset for Kimi Antonelli, most certainly next year is. So let's have our fingers crossed for Kimi Antonelli, because I think there's still a massive chance for him. He can do wonders. There's a massive but, though, isn't there, still? And basically the but being he kind of has to improve from now. Now, at the time of recording, he hasn't qualified too bad for Italy, his home race. So let's see. If you made it to the end, though, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Give us a subscribe. That would be amazing. If you are not, You just watching this is more than enough for us. But until then, we will no doubt speak to you soon. Thank you very much. But above all else, stay safe.